Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, Muslims, Christians, Jews, traditional believers, and non-believers. I greet you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you. Shalom, shalom. The topic of today is, can righteous ever triumph over evil? God is great, but we learn a lot from Satan. Evil people never announce themselves. They move slowly and quietly through patterns, behaviors, and subtle poisons that damage trust. Because they lack empathy, your pain is entertainment to them. Your joys feel like they are lost. They manipulate with charm, sweet words which cover hiding weapons. Flattery is their favorite disguise. They feed on control. If they cannot dominate you, they will try to break you. They never take accountability. Excuses and blame shifting are their weapons against truth. They feel happy in people's downfall. Your failure fuels their satisfaction. Your development sparks hatred. They twist truth into lies. Reality bends in their hands. They rewrite stories to save themselves. They wear masks. In public, they play saints, but in private, they reveal the serpent. They drain your spirit. After every encounter, you feel weaker, heavier, and not yourself. An evil person does not always shout, it often whispers. Learn to see it before it poisons your soul. When someone cannot control you, he or she would try to control other people about how they should see you. By doing so, he or she will set up a gang of people against you. Any person who hears only the story of one person and does not want to hear the side of your story, this is how they think about you. That is what we call the self-fulfilling prophecy. This kind of prejudicial thinking is dangerous. The word prejudice means perceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. In a nutshell, it means judging before the fact. This kind of thinking and mentality causes a lot of people to become victims of evil thinkers. That is why it is also referred to as blaming the victims. Innocent people are usually framed to become victims, while in reality they know nothing about what they are blamed for. And they are also oblivious to false accusation. This kind of practice hinders the victims their freedom of expression and the freedom of being themselves in the society. You see, it is the silence of good people who allow evil to happen, perpetuated, and finally visited upon them. During Second World War, the good people at that time overlooked the atrocities meted out to Jews. When these atrocities visited upon them, they began to shout, "We do not know that we also will fall victim to this kind of atrocities." People are confused because you do not play the victims. They do not understand how you have ever had peace in your life, how you still have the ability to laugh, to trust, to smile, to joke and laugh. They do not understand. To them, it's not normal, and it's really not normal, because most people will be broken, but you did not. You did not. Most people are complaining right now to anyone who want to listen, and people expect you to do the same. In fact, they expected you to complain non-stop, but you don't even complain for seconds. You reason above your circumstances. You became a symbol of strength. You are a leader for so many people. People are continuing to live because of you and your story. You are saving people you never even met. People are grateful that you exist. The evil ones are even scared of your strength and are asking themselves whether you are a human being like them. But they have forgotten that He, who the Almighty, who is omnipotent and omnipresent, blessed, no one can curse. If you are blessed, your presence alone will irritate the evil in others. This is not your fault. The conscious awareness threatens the unconscious agreement that keep people comfortable in their illusion. Your blessing disrupts the shared delusion that others depend on. You are an individual who develop what is called differentiated perception. You could see through social masks and sense psychological truth which others could not. That is why you will become consistently target, not because you did anything wrong, but because your very existence reflects back what others refuse to see in themselves. Evil people rely on collective unconsciousness agreement, sharing illusion about who we are, what matters, and how the universe should work. When someone becomes righteous, he or she stop participating in this agreement. He sees clearly, he feels deeply, he refuses to pretend, and this conscious awareness become an existential threat to everyone who is not enlightened. The people whose egos feel threatened by your presence do not consciously understand what is happening. They genuinely believe you are the problem. That is called shadow projection. And it is the primary weapon the unconscious egos use to eliminate threat to its comfortable illusion. Every human being carries a shadow which is part of themselves. They refuse to acknowledge the selfishness they deny, the manipulation they cannot admit, the cruelty they will not face. When you are righteous, you develop the ability to perceive these shadows' contents clearly, not through judgment, but through simple observation. Your consciousness acts as a mirror, reflecting back the truth people have spent their entire lives avoiding. The unconscious mind has two choices when confronted with its own shadow, reflected in another person. Most people blame the righteous people for creating problems that already existed. They accuse the perceptive person of being negative, judgmental, or toxic. when in reality, that person was simply observing what was already there. This is why the righteous people irritate the ego in others. You are not doing anything to them. You are simply existing with a level of consciousness that their ego cannot tolerate. Your presence forces them to either awaken or be victim of their own illusion. Most people choose the illusion, and when they do, they must eliminate you from their psychological landscape to maintain those illusions. The irritated egos begins telling others about your problems, your negativity, your concerning behavior. They frame it as care or worry, but it is actually an unconscious strategy to build a coalition of or team up against the truth they cannot face. The evil ones will first of all test people with subtle comments. They will mention your name, your behavior to mutual friends, family, or colleagues, members, always with apparent concern. The righteous individual faces systematic exclusion from groups who are families, friends, colleagues, and communities. Not because of their behavior, but because of their consciousness that threaten the collective shadow. The group unconsciously bought in the lies of evil ones and have shared opinion about the righteous ones, and making the righteous individuals a problem instead of a solution. This allows everyone else to avoid examining their own shadow and evil inclination. As long as they unconsciously think that the righteous individuals are the problem, they will never have to blame themselves. So, the righteous people should know how to deal with people who have an evil inclination towards them. As you know, human beings have a right and left brain. This applies that every human being has a good and evil inclination. The majority of human beings, for instance, 70% of human beings are controlled by their evil inclination. That is why we have few prophets and few freedom fighters. As a result, we are not yet able to eliminate Satan, despite the intervention of God, his prophet, and freedom fighters. Thank you.